Welcome! If you're new to quilting, that probably means you're also new to rotary cutters and self-healing mats. And if that's you, then this video is for you because I want to teach you how to use rotary cutters. I know, you're thinking, how complicated can it be? But also how to use them safely. Because let me tell you, they can be pretty dangerous if you're not using them right. Hi, I'm Wendy J. Haney, and I'm here to help you discover the joys of quilting and realizing it's not all that intimidating, and if you have an interest, you can do this. So, stay tuned. Okay, so, rotary cutters. When you're quilting, in today's age, you pretty much need to use a rotary cutter for your quilting and for your cutting out. Rulers, rotary cutters, it's what you need. And if you're using a rotary cutter, it means you need a self-healing mat. Because if you start using one of these on your table or your kitchen counter, you're going to be very unhappy. One, your rotary cutter is going to get kind of icky very fast. And two, you're going to have a very scratched up, messy countertop as well. A self-healing mat is a mat that has a surface on it that when you cut on it with a rotary cutter, well, it kind of self-heals itself. It doesn't leave all sorts of cuts in it. I have another video out there on choosing the best rotary cutter mat. After I did that video, one of the mats I recommended that I hadn't tried before was our Martelli rotary cutting mat. I recently purchased one. I love it. It's a little bit firmer than the Olfa mat. And I love the purple. The purple just helps all my fabric stand out. But also the other side of it, oops, sorry, can't exactly flip it over, is yellow. So if I wanted that, I could do that too. But the purple is working really great. And it's just, it's nice. Yeah, so that's the one I'm recommending, the Martelli Self-Healing Rotary Cutter Mat. Okay, rotary cutters. As I also indicated in other videos, I prefer the Olfa. I like the ergonomic handled one. It just works well. But I also have a Fisker one here. And should have been prepared. I also have a True Cut. And I don't know what brand this is, but I got this one. Basically, the two of these I picked up because I was struggling with elbow pain on my right elbow. And at the time, I'd been doing a lot of quilting and a lot of cutting, and I was thinking, it's the use of my rotary cutter, and I need a more ergonomically correct rotary cutter. Well, tried this one. I really don't like it. I'm going to be honest. I couldn't get the pressure I needed. This is a Martelli. Yep, it is a Martelli. Don't know what it's called, but it's from Martelli. You know, I struggled with this one, but that's out there. Nice ergonomic. This one from True Cut is also ergonomic, and it's a little better, but I still struggle to get the right pressure with it. What I discovered later, it wasn't exactly my rotary cutter that was the situation. It was my neck that was causing a problem with my elbow. So just be aware, sometimes you just need to go see a chiropractor and they'll tell you where the problem is. These basically are my two rotary cutters. This one, the Fisker's one, it's what I use to cut paper, carpet, anything that I wouldn't want to touch with my good rotary cutter that I only use on fabric. Key thing with this one is it has a guard, I should say, that kind of protects that, that blade. Because the key thing to note, these rotary cutters, I'm going to be completely honest, these suckers are sharp. I mean, literally, they will cut off a finger. I've had friends that have literally cut off the tip of their finger with these babies. So, be very, very careful and take it seriously that these are sharp, which is why I'm going to give you some recommendations. Okay, so when using your rotary cutter, you're going to want to have the blade portion of it, the blade, closest to the ruler. So as you can see here, I cut this way. So what I do is I even up at the bottom of my fabric. Let's see here. I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch strip so that I don't just totally hack up my fabric. And I level it off at the bottom, and then now I've got a nice straight 2.5. I take my rotary cutter, and with this one, you push my fingers, I just grab the bottom and it pops open the rotary. Also, there is a button here. So this button, if you press it, it locks the rotary cutter. So even if I hit this, it won't open. So I'd be aware of that. So I'm going to pop that button, and now I can pop open my ruler. So the key thing is you want nice, even pressure, and you want a downward, firm downward motion. And I'm moving my ruler because I'm trying to talk. So you just do that. And if your blade needs replacing, you will hear it cut, catch. You can actually hear it, and I think I did on this, so we'll see how good of a cut I did. Nope, I didn't. I have a few spaces that didn't quite cut through. That means I need to replace my blade. But it also could have meant that I wasn't providing enough pressure evenly as I cut it. So if you put in a new blade and you have this problem, that means you're not putting enough equal, even pressure down as you're cutting. When you're cutting around a curved template, I'm just going to grab one of my quilting rulers. Granted, as a quilter, I don't do this very often, but maybe you've got a curved template that you're creating for a curved block. Let's see if I can do this so that it's easy for you to see. So I'm going to put this curved portion right here. There we go. The easiest thing to do as you go around it, normally you're pressing down like this and you're moving your ruler and you've got a nice angle with your arm. But here you're going to want to tilt, as you go around the corner, it'll be good to tilt your wrist up. And that will help you get around that curve much better than if you were trying to do it like this. Nice and curved around, and watch that. So there we go. So that's how you would do a nice curved. Get the angle of your wrist up as you do that, and that will help with your cutting around a curved template. The other thing, as you've noticed, as I've been cutting, you always want to cut away from yourself. Always. I mean, seriously, did I say the blade was sharp? Yeah. Cut away from yourself always. And when you set the ruler, the cutter down, always pop that button. It's just, so this one, it automatically, once I lay it down, it pulls the blade back. So the blade isn't out because I've let go of the handle. But I've gotten the habit, I always hit the button, and now it's locked. So if I were to accidentally bump it or pick it up, it's not going to release that cutting blade until I hit the button again. That's the same with the Fiskars. The Fiskars has this bump out. So here with the Fiskars, I hit the button here and the blade comes out. And then I hit the button and it pulls it back in. And then it's not going to go out again until I hit it. So anytime, depending on the type of cutter you have, always make sure as you're getting done with it and you're setting it down that that blade is retracted in and not out. Because believe me, if it's out and you bump it, you grab it inadvertently and it's out, you will have a serious cut on your hand. And that's not a good thing. Key thing I think I noted is you want your blade closest to your ruler. So here I cut on this side. So if you're a lefty, you might need to look at getting a lefty blade, a lefty cutter. I'll have to admit, I'm not sure. I'm not a lefty, but I cut this way, and you always want the blade next to the ruler. Otherwise, I mean, it's not going to work. So there you have it. When you need to replace your blade, like, yeah, maybe I do, you're going to want to, usually there's instructions on the packaging. If you're like me, I don't know where those are, but it's pretty straightforward. Basically, in this case, for my Olfa ones, I take the screw. Come on. There we go. I have to hold this here, unscrew this, and then I just set them down. And then it's got this little washer thing, and I set it down. And then it's got this other washer thing, and I set it down. Now it's got the screw that comes out this way, and there's my blade. And be very careful with that. So then, oops, let's see, do I have a new one here? Yep, so I have a new blade here. So I'm going to get it open, pop out that blade. I'm going to put it there, put the screw back in, and then you just reverse it. There we go. And if it does what this does, which I always get that last screw wrong, even though I set it down the right way, if it doesn't quite fit, flip it over. There we go, there we go. You'll know when it fits together. There we go. And so now all the pieces, unlock it, and it's fitting very, very nicely. Now, what I do with my used blade is put it in the package that my new one came on. Sometimes I buy larger packets of 5 at a time. So, okay, that may not work. But eventually you're gonna get these empty containers like I have here. So, I label it as old. I just, on these containers, I say old, and then that's where my old things go, because you do not want to just throw these in the garbage, because somebody could pick up that garbage, stick their hand in it, I don't know, whatever, and could get very seriously cut. So you want them in a container that protects people, just like you do with needles. At pharmacies, a lot, you can pick up sharps containers. Fine, go there, and that's where you can put your rotary cutters when you're done. Put them in the sharps container. One way or another, get them in a container, just don't throw them in the garbage. I often keep my old ones. This has quite a few old ones in there, because a lot of times they're old enough that I'm getting catches on my fabric, but they're still usable. They'll work great on paper, or, oh, I want to cut that piece of carpet or cardboard. You know how it goes. There's so many things in the house that you want to cut that the rotary cutter is pretty dang handy for, and your rotary cutter mat. So then I just swap out my blade in my cutter for an old one, do what I want, and then put my good one back in. Others have suggested, which I'm going to do right now, is taking a Sharpie and putting a date on your blade when you replaced it. So I am going to do that right now. So that is on there. I'm locking the blade as I'm setting it down. So now I know that is when I replace that blade. So when it starts getting weird and I look at it and go, ha! Well, that was 6 months ago and I've been doing a lot of quilting since then. That explains it. Hope you found this useful. Go out, start quilting, get a good rotary cutter, a good rotary cutter mat, and you will be set. And be sure to take those safety precautions so you're safe when using your rotary cutter. Take care. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today. You can follow me by doing one, subscribing to this YouTube channel, hitting the bell icon on the subscribe button so you're notified every time I drop a new video. But you can also find me over on Facebook, Wendy J. Haney. So facebook.com/Wendy J. Haney. Also, I have a Facebook group for people that love needlework, books, wine, all sorts of things also. The name of the group is called Life Fulfilled, Quilting, Needlework, Wine. Basically, you can't miss it. It's facebook.com/group/Life Fulfilled. You'll be able to find it. You can also find me over on my website, wendyjhaney.com. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate all your comments and feedback that you're providing me. Take care.